How do I look? Well, guys, it's about Christmas time, right? Well, it is kind of Christmas time, but it's almost Christmas in a few weeks, 2 weeks. And with Christmas, we're gonna get some new movie stuff, right? And this video is going to go over three things. I wanted to go over. There's a lot of stuff because first and foremost, I want to let you guys know that I will be gone over the next few days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Over those 3 days, I will have each of those days close to maxing Relic or pretty much Relic 7 character reviews. So I know you guys like those, and I will do a few of those over the next few days. But today's video is going to be about a few things. The best squad in the game, how to mod your Hux and your new Sith Trooper once you guys get them up, and what to do to prepare yourselves best for these new Journey Guide Galactic Legends. You can come here, and these two new ones for Kylo and for the new Rey. There's been a lot of videos out there recently, Cubs fan Han, Arnold, saying you're going to need probably 14, 15 of these characters while you include the previous version of the Rey / Kylo, right? I wouldn't say to bet your money on that kind of stuff. There are question marks and boxes here for, you know, there could be stuff here, but I don't think that that's really a legit thing. I think this is more of like a placeholder for now. If I were to really bet anything, you wouldn't really see these. We can't really tell until we get some more either new First Order / new Resistance, or if we get reworks. Once we get reworks, that's probably when you're like, okay, maybe I know what's going to happen here. We've already kind of been over that for previous videos and some of the ship stuff, while you include some of your First Order and Resistance characters. First Order ships, pretty much everything First Order is something that most people are going to have. I don't think most people are going to have Resistance up. I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's going to be the case here. I didn't go hard on really any of these ships besides Poe. We've already been over that though. So really the best ways you can go about trying to make sure that you are on top of it, well, it's going to be really hard. This one's going to be probably a little bit tougher than the last General Skywalker one, just because we have no idea what they could throw at us. They have had, you know, Q&As going over some possible ship raid stuff, and we just saw from our last General Skywalker event that they did incorporate ships into the Phase 1 out of 4 of the phases. There was one phase where there were ships that were required, and you needed to use those ships up in the air. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if ships were needed, and if I were to bet any money, I would bet ships are going to be needed in this next event for both Rey or Kylo. With that being said, ships are something I think would be a lot more emphasized in your farms right now, more than your Rose, Tico. I would still farm as much as you can right now. This might kind of seem kind of, you know, mean to your guilds and your guild leaders and officers. Maybe don't do as many refreshes right now on Arc Trooper, because if you think about the positives to the negatives here, if you do happen to get this new Rey or Kylo, especially Rey right now, if you do happen to get this new Rey, she is going to be a Jedi. I'm not, you know, I'm pretty sure she's a Jedi. As you can see in the Journey Guide, she's a Jedi. She will be really, really useful in these new light side territory battles and making sure that you can get some better phases completed. So I think it's really, really important to focus on ships right now, like those ships like I don't have, like the Race Falcon, the whatever it is, the pilot ship and Poe's, and then with the First Order ships and all those guys. So that's really the only thing that I can think of right now that to really maximize your farms and to make sure at least that you have a certainty of getting it. With First Order though, and really backing up a tiny bit, if there was anything to determine for these specific characters for Kylo and Rey, which factions you're going to need, if I was to assume anything, it would be you need First Order for the Kylo and Resistance for the new Rey. It just makes sense that way, so you need the same faction for the same character. And if this was the case, right now, currently, I would still say Resistance is a bit tougher, because there's a lot more not as useful characters as there is in the First Order. But there you go, and you have this new these new two characters drop, General Hux and Sith Trooper. And if I were to guess, at least Hux is going to be needed in some way. And this is where they're gonna make a lot of money here from marquees and people panic spending here just to make sure that they get the next new Kylo. And that leads me to my next point, that in the journey guides, you can already see, going back here to the journey guides, not everybody is playable right now. There's 2 of them that, really 4 if you want to include the new ones that we haven't got released yet, but the 2 old ones you can't play are Darth Malak and the new General Skywalker event. And I'm pretty sure the cadence of when you can actually do these whenever you feel like is when they're at least, you know, in the game for a year or so. And I don't think Malak's been in the game for a year. I think it's around March next year is when it'll be the whole year cycle, and you can actually replay them whenever. And if that's the case with these new Kylos and Reys, this is where they're going to make the most money. This is probably going to be one of their biggest money months is in December. If they don't want to do this event in December, it's going to be early in January, February. And if I were to speculate anything, guys, it would be perfect timing right before the new raid. Just my take on it. Try to maximize the revenue in a short amount of time, and then try to give us some new modes, and then to span that next revenue over a long period of time. I think that'd be a good idea for them. So really, most people, I would say like 80-90% of people will not get these guys first time around, and I'm okay with that. I did get GS and General Skywalker the first time around. I did spend a lot of money. I'm not going to do this for this next event though, because I would assume that this guy would be coming out in sooner than later. You know, 3, 4, 5 months down the line after he's coming out for the first time. Same with Rey. So these are totally fine with me to be slow farms, and I just think that's going to be probably the most likely thing to see here. They're trying to, with the Journey Guide, they're going to try to push out as many of these Galactic Legends as possible, trying to maximize their money here. And for us, people who don't like to spend that much, going to be kind of left in the dust here, which is typical. And we'll just have to get it the next time around, which I think is totally okay, because that brings me to my next point, the best squad in the game. Who is it, and why I think this is probably the best squad in the game? And you guys know. You guys already know it. You guys should already know this. It's probably going to be the title, or it's going to be in the thumbnail. It's Padme still, guys. Padme is still the best for a lot of different reasons. This could change, though. Right now, I think she's probably the best, but this could change. If we get this new Kylo, and you tie in with his kit and with the, you know, the already known Kylos for crew and the OG Kylo, they have something built in that counters courage stacks, and courage is really the biggest thing here with why I think Padme is so dang good. And on top of that, her heals are so dang good. I was going to mention CLS here, but I think CLS will always have a really good spot regardless, as long as you have them with max relics. You don't need max relics on the Padme team for them to do really good stuff and work. And there's more reasons why I think Padme is better right now because of the new light side territory battle. But the thing with Kylos and how this could potentially just diminish all these Padme counters is with their reduction to maximum HP effects. So courages deal 40% max damage to their HP, and if you do tie in a new Kylo that has that same kind of thing built in with that effect and unique, Padme is not going to be a counter. And with new Hux, they can't gain a whole lot of TM, which doesn't really counter Padme too much. But some of the counter attacks that you might need, like from the Retribution, is not going to be useful anymore. So I can definitely see this new Kylo and First Order countering this Padme team, and furthermore countering the GS team. So, you know, right now, with this new light side territory battle, you can see we have all these light side territory battle heroes. And the only one we're missing right now is Caddy. I couldn't bring him up because I don't have him locked, as everybody else doesn't. And these are some of the teams you guys should be working on right now. If you're not working on these guys, you should be working on Resistance / First Order. So I think Padme is still one of the best hands-down teams. Whether you're going to be playing this game free to play, whether you're going to be competitive in this game, not only can this team beat the meta teams, but it can just stomp on, you know, typical counters like Bounty Hunter, like the Newt teams, like the Kira teams with Nest, and heck, even like if you do happen to see JKR or another Mir and Padme, it beats pretty much any of those. It is such a good team on offense, guys. It is really, really good, and I can't recommend this enough. Everybody here has such an important role of the team, and the synergy here is just ridiculous. You don't even really need R2 here. You can toss in 3PO, which I would prefer personally, because with this team, they're GR is such a big faction right now. There are so many different uses you can tie in here. So I still am sticking to my my Padme team. I know I haven't done a whole lot of videos recently about Padme team, but this team will go down, and it will be a solid meta counter for a very, very long time. There isn't anything besides this new Kylo team that I could potentially see countering it or making it not work at all. And this is my thoughts on it, guys. Best team in the game, or if you want to consider it the best team for counter, at least as counters come into play, and how you're going to use them in your GAC, TW, and your arenas, Padme is the go-to. It is the best. Okay, so the next part of the video I wanted to go over was how to mod your General Hux and your new Sith Trooper here. And going into the SWGoH.gg webpage, this is the stats you can see. I guess you can probably see it in-game, but I like this visual a little bit more. Just disregard these ads. I don't have ad blocker. I really should get it. So he is pretty decent with the speeds. He's 161 speed, and keep in mind this is with Gear 13. If you want to just look at Gear 12, he's only 141, so he's not extremely fast like First Order Officer. He's pretty decently in the speed pool. If you want to just see his speed, well, here we go. First Order, oh, type in Fist. First Order, and where is he? He is 165, so actually he's kind of similar. Honestly, I didn't think he was. I thought he was much faster. So there's only a 4 speed difference there. And now if you come back here and you want to check out Sith Trooper, his speed is not that good either. But keep in mind, these guys don't need to be fast to be useful. He has 153 speed. It's going to be minus 20, so around 133 when he's only gear 12. And these guys don't need speed. I'm telling you guys, they don't need speed. And here is what I would, if I were to tell you anything about how to mod these guys, this is it. So I would go for lots and lots of crit chance on both of them, because with this, whenever he is critically hitting somebody, he gains advantage. You need this guy to have an advantage. With First Order, they have some extra call to assist between now Hux and with First Order Stormtroopers, so that gives potential for Hux to, do his basic pretty much, and you really want him to have high crit chance. The next set I would probably go for is Speed Set Still. He's a support, and you want him to get off these specials pretty dang fast. With a crew lead, he does gain 30 extra speed. If you don't want to run him in the crew lead, you're not going to gain that speed, but you do gain this dominance, which is extremely strong still. And I think the best sets you can probably go for here is trying to maximize the crit chance. I'm talking like 50% plus crit chance with a really decent speed, like 280, 290 speed if you possibly can go that fast. So that's Hux. You want to make sure that he gets off advantage, and he always has advantage the entire battle. And then for his counterpart, Sith Trooper, this guy is he might be a bigger DPS and damage dealer than the already really good damage dealer known as First Order Executioner. So this guy's an attacker. You do not need this guy to be fast whatsoever. He is modded pretty much similarly to Executioner, and if you want to think about this in the General SWGoH team, kind of like an Echo. So if you want to mod this guy, go for crit damage, go for a lot of crit chance. He doesn't gain extra crit chance in any of his uniques. He only gains extra crit damage. So you do want to maximize his crit chance. He is an attacker, so if you go to his mastery, he gains extra damage and defense penetration. Kind of like an Anakin. He doesn't gain any crit chance here, but with really anybody in the game with relics, they're going to gain extra crit chance. But before relics, he's not going to have that crazy of crit chance. So if I were to recommend any sets here, it would be crit damage and crit chance, very similar to how I would mod my Echo. And if you want to see my Echo here, Echo is right here. He has a lot of maximum crit damage, and he has a really good crit chance with some extra offense. And that's how I would mod my Sith Trooper, almost exactly like that. So that's pretty much it for my video today, guys. A few things. Epic confrontation, or not really epic, not epic confrontations, but the new Galactic Legends with Kylo and Rey. If we want to just go to it and see for the last time, it's this guy. The best way you can possibly farm for these guys. It's not a whole lot you can do right now if you want to try to be free to play or not spend as much money as possible. It's not very likely to get it the first time around. So that's what we came up with, and that's what we kind of concluded in today's video. The second thing is the best team in the game, the best squad. Padme still is, in my opinion, the best squad in the game because of how many different counters it has and how many teams it can counter. And with its use in the light side territory battles, it is by far, in my opinion, one of the best and the most useful team. And then last but not least is a few little tidbits of how to mod your new General Hux and your new Sith Trooper. That is it for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, share it around, and sub to the channel if you guys are new here. We do a lot of different videos covering, just different parts of the game, whether it be news, counters, or just whatever about Galaxy of Heroes. So pretty much always have daily videos. And like I said, I will be covering a few more Gear 13 with high relic character reviews in the next few days while I'm gone. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you all later.